And we're here at Frickers for the Coaches Show on this Monday night. Excuse me. And it is Monday night. I always get confused because Wednesday night's the football night. And I always get confused. So, all right, we have a great lineup with you tonight. And, of course, there is one more show here at Frickers if you can't make it out tonight, because Kyle Knight will have the final show of the winter season on next Monday. I'm Tim Boulware, and we're joined by Erin Foose of Lakota Girls. We'll have her on in just a moment. Tony Egbert, Gibsonburg Boys at 7:15. Jared Shedder, the Clyde boys coach, at 7:30, and then John Cahill and several of his players for the Ross boys will be at 7:45 to 8. He informs me Mason England, Braylon Jordan, and Jackson Mackey will be joining him for the program. So, obviously, all the draws are out. The boys were on Sunday, and then, of course, last week, so 8 days from this day, 8 days ago, the girls had their draw, and we'll go over a little bit of those specifics as well. Obviously, you can go to the OHSAA website to, because we're not going to go over a laundry list of teams and everything. That doesn't make for entertaining radio. That's what they tell me. I don't know much about radio, but I do know that. So Erin Foose joining us, and we're going to have her on in just a moment, talk about her ladies over at Lakota. And, before I start, and this is not to be political, it is amazing that we may have former Ohio State football coach Jim Tressel as our next lieutenant governor.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that came down earlier today. Governor DeWine made that appointment, so now they have to vote on it in the legislature. So Jim Tressel at 72. And, of course, he does have administrative experience, not only just as a coach, but also at University of Akron and Youngstown State as president.
Correct.
He will potentially be our next lieutenant governor, which makes everybody happy in the legislature, except maybe those far ones by Toledo on the border.
Yes.
They may vote against.
Yes, for sure.
But they could get away with that with your constituency. So, anyway, but that is interesting to see that. So we wish him the best of luck if he is confirmed to that position. So, anyway, a little sports and politics. Usually we don't talk politics on the show, so we try to stay safe from that.
Sure.
All right, here, Frickers, and remember, it is 89-cent boneless wing night here. 79 cents. Okay, I'm sorry. That's the Boulware discount's 10 cents. 79-cent boneless wing night, and of course they have the traditional chicken wings tomorrow night, steak night. We do play the promotions for the nightly specials in between time. And Aiden Klein, our producer engineer tonight. Let's go to Erin Foose, the head coach at the Lakota Girls, and talk a little bit about your season. 12-10, 11-7. Just had to win SJCC on Saturday. Was that right?
That one got canceled. So we are.
Oh, it did get canceled.
We are 11-10.
Oh, you're 11-10.
We were ready to go.
Max Preps lied to me.
Right.
I can't believe that.
We were ready to go on the bus, and that sleet came in, and it was just treacherous.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, it was very, very icy the other day. Yeah,
yes.
that is
so
very true.
Our makeup game's supposed to be Thursday, which, again, another snowstorm coming in, so I don't know.
Do you like that because you're playing Toledo Christian on Saturday?
Actually, I don't mind it because we had this whole week with no game. To stay in game rhythm, I'd rather have a game this week, so I'm okay with it.
Okay, wow. Yep. All right, well, that's interesting. So we'll talk about your team here in just a moment. A reminder that we are on YouTube and the Facebook for Eagle 99, so you can see, not that you would want to see what we look like, but if you do, there's video technology. Yes, we are on camera as well. So let's talk about your team a little bit. And I know you had such a tough start to the year.
We did.
3-7. But then you won 5 in a row, and it seems like the girls are gaining some confidence going into tournament play. So how have you sized up the season? What did you struggle with early, and then how are you able to rebound?
I think it was just team chemistry early. These girls have not had a lot of on-court playing time together. So once we figured that out, I think we got, like you said, got more confidence, and we went on a stretch. And the teams that we lost to the second time we played them, we still played them a lot better than we did the first time. So, I mean, against Gibsonburg, who is league champs, we had them. It was a 3-point game going late into the third, start of the fourth quarter. And just a couple possessions, and we would have had them. But
Yeah, we had their game against Old Fort, and that was quite amazing.
Oh, yes,
and then
the last second
Ellie
shot, yeah.
Everts hit that game-winning
Yeah,
shot just
yeah.
inside half court. I mean it was truly amazing.
Yeah, we switched up our defense, and she scored the 19 points first half. Second half, she scored 0.
Wow. So what was the key? How did you switch
But Fleming, we went from just playing our normal man to triangle and 2.
Oh, okay.
And our girls had never ran that before,
Yeah.
and we just had a couple little communication errors.
Yeah.
And Fleming stepped up, and she scored 14 of her 18 in the second half.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. There you go. When you have a 1-2 punch like that, it's hard to beat that. But no,
that is tough.
I mean, they're a great team, and but our girls battled and gave it everything they had, but we were right there.
Yep. Well, so you played some tough teams in league. How does that groom you for tournament play?
Well, hopefully pretty well.
Yeah.
We had a tough one just last Thursday against Old Fort. We only won by 5, which I would much rather have that than beat someone by 20 the week before tournaments. So hopefully we can. We're a little bit more battle tested, and we can come ready to go on Saturday with Toledo Christian.
And this is a rematch of a game from 2 years ago where you lost in the district final.
By 2.
By 2, yeah. And I saw that. And obviously there are some girls left from the team. Not that's me, because they would have been sophomores. But what is that a motivating factor at all for some of the older players?
Not really.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about it that much. I think we're a whole different team, and so are they.
Yeah.
So I think we're much more evenly matched. We were pretty evenly matched on that game too, but But I think we should, if we play our game, we should come out on top.
So, in what ways are you evenly matched with them? Name me some of the aspects of the game that you feel like you have.
Obviously, I've just watched a few films on them, but
understand.
I think one thing that we're better at than they are is we're more physical.
Okay.
They're long and lanky, but they don't have a lot of physicality. We apply a lot more physicality and pressure, so their ball handlers are going to have to step up and handle the ball. So hopefully that will vote in our favor.
Is that true in tournament play? Does it just get more physical? Is that because of the hunger for needing to win, or you're eliminated?
I don't know. We're pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Throughout the season, but I love it when the refs let us play, because that always, our girls are more into the game when they can be more physical. But so hopefully we get some refs that don't call some ticky tacks.
Are you noticing that are the players pretty good at adjusting to the way the game's called?
Yes, they are. I talk about it a lot. I'm like, well, depends on who we have. We got the first quarter, and you got to feel it out. So yes, they're getting a lot better at that.
Erin Foose joining us from Lakota as their girls team gets ready for the Toledo Christian. Aren't they the Eagles?
Eagles, yeah.
That's what I thought. I was trying to remember that. And the winner will play either Gibsonburg or Van Buren in the next round. So it's a little different this year. It's almost like you can't run and hide now because of these 7 divisions, because they slate you in and you basically have a pool of teams. So you really can't. The selection isn't, if it's right, it's not quite as strategic as it used to be.
Right. Well, I mean, with the seeding, our draw was very down the line, and it went exactly like I thought it would. We were the 5 seed, and we went to the 4 seed. So, I didn't know who he would go at, if he would go at Cary or Woodmore, and he ended up going Gibsonburg, which I figured he would, which Gibsonburg was the 2 seed, Cary was the 1 seed. So, we're going to – if we would have went to the top bracket, we probably would have faced Woodmore too. I mean, they're both in our league. So, we split with Woodmore this year, and we lost both to Gibsonburg, so we'll see how it ends up. But we got to get past Toledo Christian first.
Yep. First things first.
Yep.
All right, Erin Foose joining us from Lakota. The girls basketball team gets ready for Toledo Christian on Saturday. And, of course, that remake game with SJCC on Thursday. So Aubrey Vitti, who's 6th in the conference in scoring, 5.3 rebounds a game, 13 points per game. And then 4 steals. Just what has she meant to this team this year?
She's the most gritty player I've ever coached.
Yeah.
Like no matter what I ask her to do, she will do. Now, sometimes I get her in trouble because she gets in foul trouble, but she really has stepped up and been a leader for this team. Her and Riley King both being my seniors that have the most experience. They're both 4-year letter winners, so that helps us tremendously, having their calmness and their composed attitude out there. But yeah, she is 5'2".
Yeah.
So she's very short, but she's so athletic and she can jump out the gym. So she just has a knack. She knows where the ball's going to go and she wants the ball in her hands.
Riley Markle, and what I'm noticing about 53 offensive rebounds. What is her difference for her, and especially playing well off the glass?
She has just got so much more experience this year. She had a little bit of varsity time last year, but this year she's played a ton of minutes for us. So you see her progression, and she's just reading those offensive rebounds, knowing where the ball's coming off of it, and being aggressive. And then I just told my players today that's going to be a key going into Toledo Christian. We can hurt them on the offensive boards.
Your team has gone to the line 40 more times than your opponents and had 27 more makes from the line than your opponents. What's been the key to success to getting to the line this year for your team?
We have stressed attacking the basket, especially off of a reversal. So my guards do that very well, and my posts. My posts can handle the ball, so I'm fine with them attacking the basket. And
defensively, you're only allowing 41 points per game. That's 5 below the second-place team in 5 more than the second-place team in Calvert. But defensively, how do you size up what your team has done defensively this year?
I've always been a coach that stresses defense, so more than anything, that's what we focus on. A lot of communication, a lot of gritty, just playing good on-ball defense, a lot of help side. So hopefully they learn that from me, and we can take and run with that.
Now, you were the member of the only Lakota district champion team, 1997. And
yeah, we made it to regionals, yep.
Yep, you made it to regionals. And so, being back at Lakota, obviously, how many years have you coached again?
So this is my 4th year as head coach.
Year, yeah.
I've been in the program, it's either 9 or 10. I've lost track.
Well, but you know the entire community there.
Oh, right, right. I live just right across the field from the school.
Yeah.
So.
So you're within walking distance there. So
yes. Well, out there it's not walking, but
yeah.
A ranger ride.
Yeah. The tractor ride goes right through.
Yes, exactly.
All
exactly.
Right. But being a part of the program and now seeing it from a different perspective as a coach, what does it mean for you to be back home?
It's been really satisfying and trying to build. It hasn't just been me. It's been the coaches I've coached before I came in, the players. It takes a long time to build a program back up to where that it was when I played. And Dick Heller, he's just a fabulous coach. He's the one that coached us to that regional championship, or not regional championship, but made it to the regionals district championship. But having mentors like him, and it just a lot of hard work, and it's been very rewarding. But the girls, you got to show them that you care outside of the game of basketball. Yeah. And then they'll go through the brick wall for you.
So what is it like caring for them outside basketball?
Oh, you just gotta ask them how they're doing and find their other interests and connect with them on that level. And I try to do that with every single player that I've coached and that's came through my program.
Is there anyone that would have an unusual interest or something that you think, wow, I can't believe you love that?
Yes, because I always try to find that. I ask them those questions. Like my one player, she loves to physically build computers.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, because I could never do that. Stuff like that. That's fascinating to me. And one of my players right now is the lead in our musical. And so she's
that's awesome.
So all that stuff, just showing them that I care is the main thing.
And lastly, I wanted to ask a little bit about your family, because your family just, you have that family bond with basketball. When you look at Chloe's on the team right now as a sophomore. Cassidy graduated last year. And then Carly, who we knew about having a spectacular career at Lakota. But what is it with that bond and your daughters that has made basketball so special?
When they were little, I tried to not tell them what to do. I just kind of I exposed them to whatever they wanted to do. But all three of them gravitated towards the game of basketball, and so me being a past player, I just wanted to share my knowledge, and it's great. My husband loves it too. He's learned a lot over the years, but we all enjoy it. Like yesterday, we were watching the South Carolina Texas game, and we watched.
Yeah, that was a big
watched,
upset.
Oh yeah, we watch a lot of basketball, and that's such a thing that players don't do anymore.
Yeah.
My household, we can't wait for March Madness. We love watching it together. We love going to games together. I think that's something that we will enjoy for the rest of our lives together.
Oh, wow. Awesome. And I know that they're doing well. Carly had the spinal surgery a few years ago.
She
and
did.
She's doing great.
She's doing great.
Why don't you update us on how your daughters are doing?
Carly's at Findlay University, and she's studying to be a physician's assistant. Hopefully that happens. And then my middle daughter, Cassie, she graduated last year, so she went and joined the Air Guard right out of high school, and so she got back from boot camp in November.
Oh, wow.
And so now she's at Toledo studying engineering. So they're both doing great. And then Chloe, she's a sophomore. She's got a little bit of time to figure out what she wants to do, but I'm sure she'll be just as hardworking, as successful as my other kids.
Does she pick your brain about what to do?
Oh, as far as like
improving. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's my one that she's more laid back. My other two are a lot more feisty. So coaching her has been a lot easier. Because there's not a lot of battles when we get home.
Your other daughters aren't listening, right?
Well, I hope not, but no, they kind of know, and my husband's kind of glad about that too. He doesn't have to play referee as much.
Oh, okay. Interesting. That would be an interesting conversation. We should bring your husband on next time.
Yeah, he's right there.
We'll save that in the banks for next year because
Gotcha.
Obviously. So, Aaron Foose, Lakota, we do appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck against Toledo Christian on Saturday.
Appreciate
your first
that.
round game. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, you too.
All right. We're going to continue along. We have Tony Egbert from Gibsonburg coming up next here at Frickers. 79-cent boneless wing night here at Frickers and of course now no football. You got to watch basketball. But that's okay. Aaron Foose can do that. All right. It is certainly a great time here at Frickers. For our coaches show, as we roll along here on this Monday night, Tony Egbert, Gibsonburg Hoops, coming up next here on Eagle 99. On Frickers with a Coach's Show here on this Monday night on Eagle 99. I'm Tim Bolware, joined by Coach Tony Egbert. Talk Gibsonburg boys hoops as they get ready. You got 3 games coming up this week. So busy week, and then, of course, next week you have the draw. So let's talk about it. First, the draw, and you have New Regal. And you had a tough loss to them at the beginning of the year. Then it was 65-34 in that game. But then the last time you met up with them, you only lost by 6 points.
We actually knocked them off early in the year.
Oh, you did?
Yep. We knocked off New Regal by 2 at our place.
Okay.
Calvert, you might be thinking of.
Oh, yeah, maybe I did.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So you
did. But so you have a matchup where you won a previous game. So how much confidence does that bring you into this next game?
This is kind of what how we thought it would shake out, and we've kind of been preparing for this matchup for a couple weeks now. Like you said, we went there, kind of lose track of the days. Like last Friday, they got us by 6, but there's no excuses. We had 2 starters out. They had guys out too. It was kind of a weird situation where both of us were playing, some guys more minutes than they're used to playing, and they came out. I think they hit 7 of 10 threes in the first half, which pretty hot start for them. It's pretty good, yeah. But then we held them to 16 points in the second half, but just kept making a push and couldn't quite get over the hump. So,
are these open looks, or are they getting it with hands and faces?
A couple were open looks. There was one scouting, which is my fault. There was a kid that hadn't made a 3 all year who makes 2 in the first half.
Oh,
wow. But one of those nights. So I mean, credit to them for knocking them down.
But that's not something you can foresee. I mean,
yeah.
I hear all the time when they do when I hear the basketball announcers talk about it, and it's like, you want to give him that shot, and of course he hits the 3 or whatever like that.
Yep.
How hard is that to say? Well, we would normally give him that shot.
Yeah.
And they still make it.
Yep. It's tough. I mean, it's one of those things where we always, I don't know, we're transparent with the kids. Like I told them, that's my fault.
Yeah.
We scouting wise, we didn't think.
And how do they react to that? I mean, do they respect that?
I think they do. Yeah, definitely. When we're open and honest with them, I think it helps them they trust more. They see why we do certain things, and I mean, more often than not, it's going to work out. It's just one of those nights where it didn't, and we own up to that, and move on. I think the kids really respect that and buy into it. So
you have 12-7 overall, 9-6 in the SBC River, and of course, if you win that game against New Regal, then you have Old Fort.
Yeah. Yep. Nice.
Which I've seen them play, and they're good. I mean, you've obviously seen them play, and head to head. But what is it about the league this year? And Old Fort's undefeated.
Yep.
And it seems like that the top heavy teams are really good.
Yep.
And what do you see? What makes them so good?
Old Fort, that's just what – I mean, Coach Hoover does such a good job over there with those kids. They've really bought in, and I know like Ryan Adelsberger from Old Fort, he's going to be player of the year in the league, and I think he probably spends more time in the gym than than he spends at his own home. Like I know that kid works his tail off, but I think their best player does that, and when his teammates see him in the gym working all the time, I think that gets them in the gym too. And I mean, they love basketball over there, and you can really see that.
You had the lead against them though last time,
Yep.
and lost in overtime, 68-65. What was it about the final minutes that gave them the edge?
Yeah, I think their kids have been there before in that position in a close game, big game late. It was one of those where, I mean, it was a packed gym. It was great atmosphere, and at the end of the game, we did a couple things we maybe, normally don't do, but it was just run and double the ball when we're up 3 and give up an open look. But it was kids trying to make a play. I mean, it's not like they were just caught up in the moment, like zoned out or anything. It was kids trying to make a play, and their kids ended up making a couple more plays than ours did. But no, that was I don't know, fun's not the right word because losing sucks. But no, it was a great atmosphere, and I think that kind of showed our kids that we belong and we can play with these guys. So
Tony Egbert joining us from the Gibsonburg boys as they get ready for 3 games this week, 2 of them on the road, Danbury and SMCC, and then Woodmore on Friday, wrapping up their home schedule. And Reese Walby's done so well, and of course he's so quick.
Yeah.
And he's averaging 15 points and 6.8 rebounds per game. So take us a little bit into what he's doing better this year.
Yeah. He's starting to hunt his shot a little more. Last year as a freshman, he was a first-team All-League player, but we got on him because he shoots 40% from 3, 50% from 2 as a guard, which is phenomenal as a guard. We got on him. If you're shooting those percentages, that just means you're not shooting enough.
Yeah.
So he's started to hunt his shot a little more, which opens up a lot of stuff for his teammates. We've really gotten after it well on the offensive glass too, and I think him being aggressive leads to his teammates being aggressive, which leads to those creases on the offensive glass that we've been doing a really good job with. And then almost 7 rebounds for. I tell him he's 5'10" sometimes, but he's probably 5'9", but
Yeah,
he
okay.
likes it better when I say 5'10". So, but for a guard to average that many rebounds, he's had a bunch of games with double-digit rebounds. That's he's got a nose for the ball.
Yeah, and Hunter Wasserman's done so well for you rebounding. 42% of his rebounds are offensive rebounds. So hitting the glass, you're the top rebounding team in the conference. What has that meant for you in some of these key games this year?
Yeah, it's just extra opportunities, really. You could, if you look, a lot of the games we end up with, we do a pretty good job forcing turnovers, but we get 10, 15 more shot attempts than our opponent in a lot of games just because of those offensive rebound opportunities. And when we get that many opportunities, I like our kids' chances of converting those into 2 or 3 points at some point.
Tony Egbert joining us from Gibsonburg. Found a couple questions for him as we talk about his boys team and getting ready for sectionals coming up here in a little more than a week. And, I'm interested in this because you won at 1.6 of 7 from January 7th to January 28th. And obviously you have performed well during this season and well against some very good teams. So what is it about the confidence level you feel like these guys – do you feel like they have the experience to make a run in this thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. We've dealt with some sickness and stuff, too, the last 2.5 weeks or so. So I think Saturday morning was our first practice in 2.5 weeks where we had everybody there. So, everyone's beat up this time of year, and it might have been a little blessing in disguise where, kids were sick, but they were off their feet a little bit, getting their legs back. And, those games are we've been talking about we want to play, deep into the tournament's weird now. I guess it's late February.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about wanting to play into March and, hopefully get to a district at – I love Fostoria's gym. I think that's a great gym to play in. So
what makes it so good?
I don't know. It's one of those where, as a player and stuff, I think our kids even think this too. Sometimes you feel like you just the floor's a little bouncier maybe, where you can jump a little higher. The rims are great to shoot on. I feel like Oak Harbor's gym's kind of that way too. I like those gyms. I don't know why, but something about the rims there, and I don't know, like Hoosiers, the rims still.
Oh, okay.
Rims still.
You're
10,
not getting a
10
tape
feet,
measure,
but
are you?
we probably won't do the tape measure, but yeah, I don't know. Something about those gyms that, they're cool to play in. I think.
Last question, the assist per game's at 13, and obviously, you have to have a love for your teammates and sharing the ball and everything. So, where does that come from?
I think the kids genuinely just like each other and they want to make plays for each other. I honestly think none of them care who leads us in scoring because we've probably had 6 different leading scorers this year. And again, I think that just says about kind of the way we want to play is get out, run the floor, and make plays for each other. And, honestly, that number could be higher, too. I think we have a lot of missed layups, stat padding. You miss a layup, then you get your offensive rebound and put it back in. You pad the rebounding stats a little bit. But that's why. That's
didn't
how
LeBron do that once? He threw it off the backboard.
Something like that to get
like a triple-double
I
or
know.
something.
I was a big guy, so maybe I missed a couple layups that added to my rebounding stats, too, a little bit. Not on purpose, but.
Okay. I trust you, Coach.
Yeah,
You don't have to explain
right.
it to me
Yep,
or
I
our
got you.
audience.
Appreciate you. Yeah. Yep.
Gibsonburg head boys coach Tony Egbert. We always appreciate him joining us. We wish you the best of luck as you get ready for sectionals coming up a little more in a week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And have a nice, busy week.
Yeah. Yep. Fun road trips today. Good hour-long bus rides, too.
Yeah, exactly. That builds up
That'll be
that
fun.
chemistry, Coach. You know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
All right. So we have, and we do appreciate your time. Tony Egbert joining us from Gibsonburg. Coming up next, we talk Clyde boys basketball with Jared Schetzer. And a reminder, 79-cent boneless wing night here at Frickers on this Monday night. I'm Tim Boulware. Thanks for joining us here for our Frickers Coaches Show on this Monday night here on Eagle 99. Frickers for 79-cent boneless wing night here at Frickers Friendly Servers here. Kids eat free. You can ask your server for details on that as well. Jared Schetzer joining us with Clyde boys basketball and 10-8 overall, 3-5 in conference. And you know, we're going to talk a little bit about your draw, and you have the 11th seed Rossford in your first game with a winner to play the top seed at Seago. So how did that go for you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate
sure.
it. I know first time being on with you guys, so thank you so much for having me. You know, the draw was a little surprising. I think the way things played out. Otsego obviously went down towards the bottom of the bracket where the 6 teams were. Bellevue had the next pick, and they decided to go on the same side, and then Perkins decided to go to the top. So we had a decision to make whether we wanted to host a sectional final and potentially match up with Perkins again for a third time, or, you know, maybe go over to Bellevue and play a sectional final where we kind of struggled at the beginning of the year, or to play somebody brand new that we haven't played. You know, and potentially, you know, at the time we didn't know it would be Rossford, but Otsego, who obviously is having a great year, and we decided that we'd take our chances going at them.
So, do you really select a place for a venue? Like, if you didn't shoot well at a certain gym, would you try to avoid that?
Well, I think it really comes down to your team and and year in and year out. And so, you know, this is my 10th year as a head coach, and I would say in those 10 years, my opinion of the tournament has changed based on the team that we have. You know, I've been fortunate enough to have teams that were ranked maybe one or two seed in the past, and so some of those teams, it didn't really matter, I guess, where we were going to play. We kind of knew we would have some home games, and what I always try to do as a coach is kind of look at the matchups and do your homework and figure out what's going to be, you know, beneficial for your kids. But obviously us being a high-volume three-point shooting team and attacking aggressive offensively, it's nice to play, you know, sometimes in a place that's familiar. But I think we have found out as well that some of the gyms we've played in this year have not been so kind as, you know, too.
Okay. We're talking with Jared Schetzer of Clyde boys basketball as they get ready for sectional play here coming up a little more in a week. You have 3 of the top 8 in three-point shooting this year. Your outside shots with Jackson Dashner. Of course, you have Brennan Wilson, and then Cam Shortage has done very well, all from outside. So what allows them to be so comfortable from outside the arc?
Yeah, so, you put Braden Olson is the all-time three-point record holder in Clyde history, and so we have him obviously coming back, huge three-point shooter. Oscar Webb obviously can fill it up from three, and Brennan and Jackson. So it's been nice to have, volume 3 guys, but the one thing we've talked about has been able to play inside out and to really get downhill and try to create for each other so that we can do that. We talk a lot about playing off of 2 feet, getting into the paint, using those circle pivots and looking for back cuts and then, looking for kickouts and really sharing the ball. When we're able to do that, we have a lot of success. Some nights obviously are better than others, and with a new system, kids are still learning, but I think there's been games this year where we've attempted 40-plus threes in some games, and, it's not something that we're telling them necessarily to do, but if they're making them at a high clip, 33 to 35%, then we're certainly going to encourage them to shoot them.
What's different about the system this year, and how does that play your players' strengths?
So I have always been very up-tempo. Thinking back to Loyola Marymount back in the day, the guru of Go. I don't know if you've seen that ESPN 30 for 30.
Yeah, I actually saw Loyola Marymount in person.
Okay.
At the NCAA tournament in Indy. So I was familiar with that team. They were fun to watch, especially when they played Oklahoma.
Yeah. So,
If somebody wasn't getting to 100, then there's something wrong. They had glue on their shoes.
Right. And so we're trying to play a similar style where we're up pressing pretty much from start to finish. We're trying to take between 70 and 80 shots a night. It's worked out for us, sometimes, and sometimes it's not. But I think just how hard you have to play in this system is something that kids in Clyde just haven't been used to. Obviously I've done it as a head coach, and sometimes you have to check yourself a little bit and go, these kids don't know exactly how hard they have to play in the system. And even though I may know it because I've coached it before, all the kids are brand new. I'm new, and so we were all kind of just getting used to each other. And I think at this point in the year, they've grasped it. But I also have to remind myself that they are still relatively new to the system. I think had I been here for a couple more years, I think some of our kids would maybe be a little more comfortable in it. But they're getting there, and that's all we can ask for.
All right, we're talking with Jared Schetzer, the head coach of the Clyde boys basketball team. And, of course, you have Vermillion at home on Wednesday. Then you play Sandusky on Friday. That's a road game, and a team you lost to by 12 earlier in the year. So take me into the Sandusky game. Obviously, you just came off the Perkins loss where you gave up 94.
Right.
And those are 2 tough teams that you play right there back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, so we had a nice little run. We had won 6 out of our last 7. We had a close loss to Tiffin at home by 3. And that night, we took 76 shots to their 46. So we took 30 more shots, and we lost the game. So kind of speaking back to trying to play fast and take a lot of shots, we're going to get opportunities against Sandusky to do those things. It'll be an up-tempo game. And again, if we can shoot at a high percentage and we can concentrate on getting to the basket, like I said, playing off of 2 feet, sharing it, taking care of the basketball, we should be in great shape. I know it's one that our kids are certainly looking forward to. It's one that I'm looking forward to. We've played them tough. I think our style mimics their style. Obviously they've got some more experience doing it. But I think at the end of the day, that's one that will kind of be a measuring stick going into the tournament to see how far we've come from the first time we played them, obviously, until this last time.
Has there been any surprises this season for you?
Yeah, I'm from Clyde originally, grew up here, born and raised here. And then I spent the last, 13 years coaching in Bay Village and being there. And so I was an assistant the last couple of years and kind of got my feet wet that way. The one thing I think that just surprises me is just the amount of time that all of the coaches in this area really put into breaking down what you're doing offensively and defensively. Everybody is very, very well prepped and versed in what you're going to do. And so sometimes it's hard when you go into a game and you look down at the other bench and they're calling out every set that you're running. They know every play you're running. And, when you get in the Cleveland area, it's a little bit harder to do that.
Yeah.
Stylistically, the game's a little bit different, Northeast Ohio versus Northwest. And so some of those things have surprised me. It's not that I necessarily didn't know what was going to happen, but it has been a little more difficult to adjust to that style.
What's the thing that you're most looking forward to in postseason play?
I just, this is the thing I tell my kids. We have 22 scrimmages to get ready for the tournament. And I just want to see if we've put it together for those 22 scrimmages to see if we can make a run. I really think we can. I love the tournament more than the regular season games. I've kind of become more of a practice and tournament, focused coach than a game-to-game focused coach. And so I just want to see our kids continue to do what they've been doing and growing and focusing on progress over perfection, and hopefully we'll put it together at the right time.
Lastly, of course, Braden Olson's had a great year, and he's certainly second to Jason Henlin in points per game. That's pretty close. I mean, that is less than a point, probably. I think like 0.4 of a point difference between the two. But do you feel like that if somebody has an off night, that somebody else can step up?
Yeah, kind of an unsung hero for us this year is Brennan Wilson. Brennan does a little bit of everything. I mean, he's been asked to guard the other team's best player and then turn around and score. Oscar Webb has done that for us this year. Cedric Messer had a quarter against Norwalk where he scored 10 straight, I believe. Michael Scruggs threw in 15 points last game. And so, again, we're finding guys to contribute. And one thing I always tell them is if we can get 5 guys in double figures every night, we don't need somebody to score 20 or 30 or 40. But if we can get 5 guys with a dozen, 6 guys with 10, we're going to be in pretty good shape. And so that's one thing that's kind of changed for this group, too. We kind of leaned on Braden to score 30, 40 points a night last year, whereas this year we haven't had to do that quite as much. So hats off to these kids. They've been playing their tails off, and it's been a great year for us. So hopefully we can cap it off with a big run here.
All right. Well, we hope so. Coach Schetzer joining us with the Clyde boys basketball team. Thanks very much for your time, and good luck in the tournament.
Thank you so much.
All right. And that was Jared Schetzer of Clyde boys basketball. Coming up next, we will have John Cahill and some of his players will be joining us. I also want to remind you that tournament action will resume on Wednesday. Actually, you can't resume unless you have the first one. So we'll have the first broadcast of tournament play on Wednesday. New Regal at St. Joe Girls. That will be at 6:45 pregame with myself and Nick Roth. Thursday on the Eagle, Hopewell Loudon at St. Joe Boys. That's a regular season game, while the Clyde girls will be in tournament play for the sectional final at Upper Sandusky on the Wolf 92-1. And then on Friday, we'll have Perkins at Bellevue Boys in regular season play with Cal Knight and Nick Roth. Coming up next, we will talk about Fremont Ross Little Giant basketball and their big win against Springfield as they get ready for tournament play coming up in a little more in the week. Frickers for the Coaches Show with 79-cent wing night here on Eagle 99. you weren't on when you're joking around. All right, we're talking with Coach John Cahill. We also have Mason England and Jackson Mackey and Braylon Jordan in the bullpen. Because when you leave the Super Bowl, now it's time for baseball. Okay, so that's why I'm saying they're
Skipping over the hoops.
Yeah.
I got
No.
you.
I love the March Madness too. So that's a busy time of year, that's for sure. And your big win, we covered that the other night on Friday against Springfield, and the team has done so well this year, 12-8. Your first win against Findlay since 2015, according to Max Preps. Now, hey, I could be wrong about that. They could have inaccurate information, but we're going to go with it. And it's just been a different season for you, and you could see that on the court. It seems like the guys are just having a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, they like each other. We've got 4 standards, and they kind of live them. And it's been really fun to coach. I just think they've represented Fremont Ross awfully well, and we've still got a lot left to play for. There are a lot of teams this time of year that are really looking to turn their stuff in. Are probably ready for baseball season or track season or tennis season, and I don't think we are. And so we've got a game tomorrow. We've got the big game with Sandusky, which we think will pre-sell out. We've pretty much sold all of our player tickets already, and then we got a home tournament game. So the team likes each other. They've been a blessing, and fortunate to be a part of it.
Do you like the home tournament game? Because obviously the format changes this year. So having a first round game at home, how much more does that mean to you?
I love it. It was something I really wanted for our senior group, especially. They've never had a winning season at any level, and they've just done everything we've asked. And so give them an opportunity to play a home game. Sectional final against Toledo Scott. If it were neutral site, I don't know if I would have been quite as keen on going. But, with the opportunity to play at home, we were excited to have that chance. And, fortunately, the draw worked out where we got to look at it.
And then you may have that track reunion with Toledo Central Catholic.
If we get to that point, they'll be a heavy favorite on paper. I don't think there's any question. They've got some big-time guys. We did scrimmage them at the beginning of the year. But I think the one thing, and you'll hear this if we get to it, we're from Fremont. We're not going there to say you win, we lose, we just go home. We're not going up just to participate. Our community's not built that way. Our kids aren't built that way, and I'm for sure not built that way. So, if we get to that game, we're going there to beat them, and that'll be our mindset.
I'll give you one more question, and I want to get the players on because that's what they were brought for. Tell me a little bit about your guys that you brought here: Mason England, Jackson Mackey, Braylon Jordan.
So 2 sophomores and a junior, and all playing roles on the squad. Quinn Wolf couldn't come tonight; he was supposed to come, but it's his senior night for his sister, so he's where he should be.
Sure.
But I think sometimes with our young
I'm not
guys,
gonna. Hey, I know. I've been stood up before.
Yeah, me too, for that matter. But these guys have been great for us. They're great character kids. I'm lucky to have them. Our seniors get a lot of attention, rightfully so, and they have senior night speeches and everything else. So I wanted to bring the young guys tonight just to give them an opportunity to talk, and they'll be seniors at some point too, and I'll bring the young guys when they're at that point. And they've been glue kids. Mason's been I actually coached Mason's dad in 8th grade football. Shows how old I am. But, Mason's been a war horse for us and does so many good things. Jackson really is smart, intelligent, and really, really tough. He sets mean screens. Bray is the ultimate teammate. He'll do whatever you ask. They're just great character kids, great representatives of Fremont Ross High School, and I'm proud to have them here tonight. They're all really nervous, so, this is probably going to be the highlight of the show for you. When I'm done, this is going off the cliff probably.
Yeah,
but I hope not. I'm excited to hear Mason coming up here.
All right. Well, Mason, why don't we give you the mic? Of course, you already have the headset on. So talk about, of course, that transition from football season to basketball season, and you earned your way into the starting lineup, which is what Coach mentioned earlier in the year. So what was that like to show that grit to be able to earn your way into the lineup?
Yeah, it was obviously not the easiest to get the starting role, but I know that I had a lot of other teammates to push me to be great, but not to be cocky, but great, to be a good teammate and to get the starting role. And just other teammates to push me.
You were so active out there. Now you missed that slam the other night.
Yeah. So it was
You really
heartbreaking,
tried. But you really tried, and I know that eventually you'll get that down. But just your just your aggressiveness out there. Where do you learn that from, and how do you pick your time to be aggressive?
Whenever like my team needs me to be aggressive, just like I let my teammates like do the work, but whenever like I need to do like I'm saying like a lot. Hold on.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
whenever,
okay. Hey,
whenever I have to do what I need to do on the floor, I always pick and choose when I need to, but I always give my teammates a chance as well. And we have so much like chemistry, even though we're not all in the same grade, but we have so much chemistry on and off the floor, and it's really nice to have like leaders like Makai, Mike, DeKentre, all the seniors really.
is there somebody that has really taken you under his wing?
I'd say probably Mike or Makai really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you learn most from them?
Mike's always helping me with post moves. Dunking, we always go back and forth with dunking, but Makai always helps me with, even if it's like ball handling, like any little details, they always help me with. And even with like IQ on the court, they always help me.
I have to ask you, of course, you're a three-sport athlete. You have track, you have football. That 3-touchdown night you had
Yeah.
against Oregon Clay.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you? Because if I remember right, you did not have a receiving touchdown up until that point, and then you just went wild against them.
Yeah.
What was that for you, and what did that feel like?
Oh, it was ecstatic. My first touchdown, I ran straight to my coaches and my teammates. First, my quarterback, but after that first touchdown, I knew they couldn't like stop me. It was just my adrenaline, my emotions, everything was. It just kept going, and I had to give credit to the quarterback and the coaches for making the call.
And lastly, what sport do you prefer? What's your favorite?
My favorite sport. Well, I'm in basketball season, so I have to say basketball.
Okay, there you go. Well, your coach is right there. But,
Yeah.
But he did football radio analysis for, a few years. So,
Yeah.
it'd be okay if you say football, too. But what do you like most about basketball, then?
I like the atmosphere a lot with the gym and everything about it, but mainly I like getting after it in practices a lot and just building more chemistry with the teammates and making it correlate into games and everything. Just that's everything that correlates in practice and then it goes into the games. It's just perfect. It really is.
All right, well, we're going to welcome in both your teammates here to get them on and ask them a few questions. Great job, though. Nice interview, and we really appreciate Mason England joining us. And then we're going to welcome in Jackson Mackey and also Braylon Jordan. So they will grab a headset now. We're coming up on it, but if we go a couple minutes over, well, they can always dock my pay. All right, so who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, all right. So tell me a little bit about you're a junior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Braylon. So just go a little bit into your season and just how you tried to work into the mix in your course coming off the bench, but making a significant contribution. So how hard is it to sit there and then, when they call you upon you, you got to go in the game, got to be ready.
Right. I think it's just being into the game and bought in through every quarter, and then when your name gets called on, just give it everything you got, so you can try and contribute to the team's success. And I think that some of the other bench players, we're all clapping and into the game so that we can even help the starters, so that when they get out, they can do the same for us. So.
What do you like most about basketball? What feeds your fire?
I think it's the team element that we're all, competitiveness, and then like in practice we get after each other to try and every day so that we can push each other and make each other better. and then preparation for games. It's pretty good role for preparation.
Now, you had 2 steals against Northview earlier in the year, but also were a standout last year. So what is it about the JV level that you learned now that you brought to the varsity level?
I think it's just watching, after the JV games last year, you get to really watch the varsity play and how, what makes them good, what makes them, beat other teams, and then you kind of try and bring it to yourself and your team as you, move on to the next year.
And what? Tell me a little bit about your family and where that love of sports comes from.
I think ever since I was a little kid, I've always loved basketball. I think, I played football growing up, and I think it's just sports in general, My parents are always bought in with me and pushed me to be better, and I'm just grateful for that.
Were your parents good athletes?
My dad played some baseball when he was younger, and my mom didn't really do sports, but they definitely enjoy sports as well.
All right. Well, great. Well, we appreciate it, and we wish you the best of luck coming up in the tournaments as you go up against Leo Scott here in a little more than a week. So
Appreciate
thank you,
it.
Braylon. All right, Jackson Mackey joining us, and he's got the big Letterman's jacket on, and they can tell you're a tight end. You just look bigger than some of these guys out there. So take us into your season, and of course you're a 3-sport athlete as well. Isn't that right? You play baseball?
Yep.
Yep. And what do you like most about each of the sports?
I like baseball or football, like the physicality.
Yeah.
You're just going up man against man. And then you got 11. It's a lot of strategy. Basketball, I like it's still strategy, but it's more like playing. You're just playing with your guys. Baseball, it's a lot of skill. I think baseball is like one of the most hardest sports to play. I think,
Why?
I mean, you're sitting in that box. Some
Yeah.
dude's throwing an 80-mile-an-hour fastball at you. You're trying to hit it. It's hard. It's hard.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's why they make a lot of money. So, and for you, it just seems like when you get out there, you just seem to have a real joy. Where does that come from? That love for sports?
I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've always grown up playing as many sports as I can. Everything from indoor soccer to flag football, everything. My parents have been really into it too. I played travel baseball, AAU basketball, all of it. So I'm just constantly playing sports. And what's not to love about it?
That's a good point. And for you, your ability to work into this team, how do you like your role?
I love my role.
And how's it increasing?
I let Mike do his thing, and I like being I think I'm more the physical enforcer that comes off the bench. I try to defend as hard as I can. I'm a little bit undersized for center power forward role, but I think I can still supply that physicality. And then when Mike's on, he's doing his thing.
Last question for you. And you can make this whatever you want. Tell me something I don't know about you.
Something I don't know about. Man, that's hard.
Tell me something you would want to share. Whether that be academically or something about your family. Anything you want. And you don't have to make it embarrassing. I wouldn't do that to you.
Try to think about that.
Of course, we ask him that at the top of the hour.
Yeah, that's hard. I'll go academic.
Okay.
I've gotten 1 B in my academic career. The rest are A's.
Wow.
So I
and
I
what
take
was the
pride
B
in
in?
that.
We got to talk to that teacher.
It was Terra American Government, my first semester last year.
American government. I see. I could have helped you with that. That's one of my favorite.
Or American history, sorry.
American history. See,
Yeah.
I would have been able to help you with that. We should have talked beforehand. Well, great. Well, and we really do appreciate it. Thanks very much. We
Thank
look
you.
forward to seeing you out there in sectionals and hopefully make that big
Making a
push
run.
to playing Central Catholic, which I know would be a challenge, but it would also be a great reward for what you guys have done this year. So, thanks very much for your time. And,
Thank you.
So Jackson Mackey joining us, Mason England, of course, you heard from earlier, and Braylon Jordan. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. And Coach Cahill as well. Yeah, there you go. All right. So that's going to wrap it up. Yeah, we went a couple minutes over, but that was well worth it. And, of course, a reminder, Wednesday night, St. Joe's will have the girls' game there against New Regal, and that will open up our sectional broadcast coverage here on Eagle 99 and the BAS Sports Network. For all of us, Aiden Klein, our producer-engineer, and for Nick Roth, running the cameras for our Facebook and YouTube for Eagle 99, which, of course, you can see a replay of this as well if you missed any parts of it. I'm Tim Boulware. Thanks for joining us, and a reminder, Wednesday night for tournament play right here on Eagle 99, 6:45 roughly, with the pregame show that night. Until then, we'll see you at the arena. Thanks for joining us, and you've been listening to the Frickers Coaches Show on this Monday night, coming out for 79-cent wings here on Eagle 99. Have a great night.